All right, BSFL student ministry leaders, great to be with you guys again. We are in session 5, actually coming near to the end of this unit, still looking at the hard sayings of Jesus. And today, here's the title of our session, Let the Dead Bury Their Dead. Our scripture is Luke chapter 9, verses 57 through 62. And here's our main point. Following Jesus takes priority over all other commitments. Now, follow is an interesting idea in Scripture. We're called to follow Jesus. And really, pretty much every time that this word shows up, as far as I'm aware, here's what it means. Keep on following me. Jesus doesn't say, follow me, and then in a couple days you can stop. Or when it gets difficult, you might want to find something else to do. Follow me means that we commit to following Jesus no matter what for the rest of our lives. And because we live eternally, that means we're devoted to Jesus for eternity. That's what it means. Follow me continually. Now, there were three, what we'll call would-be disciples in Luke 9 that we're going to take a look at. First, a man comes to Jesus. He's a scribe, which means he's pretty influential in the Jewish community. And he says to Jesus, I will follow you wherever you go. For a scribe to say that, now, among the religious leaders of the day, among the scribes, which were lawyers at the time in a certain sense, they weren't necessarily fond of Jesus. So this man is willing to sacrifice some things for the sake of following Jesus. And Jesus understands very clearly that that's what he communicates. Jesus, I'll follow you, even though it means giving up a lot. I'm committing to you right now. And Jesus responds in an interesting way. He says, foxes have dens, birds have nests, but the Son of Man, I don't have anywhere to lay my head. I have no home, no cozy place to settle in at night, to get rest the way even the wild animals do. Jesus is saying, I appreciate the fact that you're willing to make a sacrifice to follow me, but the life of the Christ, of the Messiah, is a difficult one, and it's becoming more and more difficult as I get nearer and nearer to the cross. So you need to understand that it's not a life of comfort. This man, I think, was looking to follow Jesus as the political Messiah that the Jews were looking for. He was buying in. He was basically hedging his bets on the fact that Jesus was the one that was going to be in control. And he was willing to give up some things because ultimately he was buying into what was going to be better. Jesus says, no, following me means a life of sacrifice, and I don't think you understand that. And the man was looking for what was self-serving and not sacrificial, and he didn't understand that. Those things didn't line up in his mind. There were two other men that came and said they would follow Jesus, but they just didn't understand the nature of the Messiah and what it meant to follow him. You guys will walk your students through those specifics in the session, but here's what it boils down to. Let's look at our practical question. How would you summarize the cost of following Jesus? Following Christ means surrendering to him. It means giving up any personal preferences, anything that's self-serving, because the nature of the Messiah wasn't to conquer in an earthly sense, but to conquer death, to conquer sin by sacrificing, by serving others. It's not about serving ourselves, following Jesus. It's about serving others and ultimately serving Jesus. We have to give up everything, lay it aside, completely deny worldly desires for the sake of following Christ's desires for our lives. That's what it means to follow him. There are plenty of would-be followers. We need to be true followers by committing from the heart to God's purposes for our lives. Great to be with you guys again. I'll see you soon.